You're listening to the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast, episode 116. How you can join me in turning exams into a strength and an opportunity to shine for your teen and for their whole school, so that they are having smarter conversations in class, so that their scores climb in terms of rankings and scaling, and so that they're surrounded by a can-do mindset and positive, successful environment around exams and assessment. I'm Katie Jones, and with over 15 years in education as an award-winning high school teacher, international external examiner, and as a study coach, I've helped thousands of students skyrocket their results and confidence. And this podcast is where I share all my insights, tactics, and tips with you, the parent, so you can help your hardworking teen get happy, smart, and successful in their study, and have you both enjoy the journey along the way. This is the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast. Hey VIPs, I hope you are as excited as I am for this episode from that intro. And if not, I really hope you will be by the end, because the difference this can make to your teen when everyone around them, their teachers, their peers, or at least we should maybe say most people around them, I'll be realistic, when they are all on the same page with the same mindset and the same goals, that can have a huge impact. And as you hopefully now know, I am going to be delivering school information evening talks to parents and students. One for students and parents of years 7 to 10 on how to build confidence, success, and independence in assessments and exams. Because that is the biggest thing I hear from parents, is that they want their teen to feel confident and successful. And the other for students and parents of years 11 to 12 or 11 to 13 on exam mastery, how to turn exams into a strength rather than a stress, without just cramming more content or studying into the small hours or sacrificing their mental health or life balance. And I've also had for a little while now a teacher professional development training entitled Boost Your Students' Exam Results and Confidence, and that can happen no matter how close they are to exams, so that we have this full complement of support and training in place for your teen. Because this is what I want for students. I want them to be confident and successful in exams, and I want parents to also feel confident and competent in supporting their teen through them. And we know that things are so much more productive and positive when everyone is singing from the same sheet and pulling in the same direction. And my ultimate wish is that students and parents come to see exams as an opportunity to shine. And here's why. Because right now, for most students, parents, and schools, exams are painful. I used to have a boss back when I worked in conservation before I got into teaching who'd often refer to grasping the nettle. And I actually think this really fits, because exams can sting. And if your teen is following any kind of academic path, then that path is lined with nettles. Because for most students in most syllabuses, most exam boards, most subjects, the following three things are what I see to be true and happening. Number one, exams are the biggest source of stress, fear, and anxiety for so many students. And it's fear of the unknown. What are they going to ask? What do they actually want in my answers? That fear of running out of time. I know so many of you have teens who run out of time in exams and don't get to do or show their best because they can't cram it all in that time. And the worry and the fear and the anxiety of just not doing well and the consequences of that. Number two, exams are often their lowest performing type of assessment. And I say this for students and I say this for schools. Even though the final exam is often worth the biggest chunk of an overall grade or result, it's often worth 50% of a whole grade or more. So it doesn't make sense to have the thing that is the biggest contributor be a weak link. And then number three, in my experience, exams are the litmus test and the gold standard of being able to perform, of feeling confident and being skilled. Because if students can be successful in exams, they can be successful in almost any other type of assessment or schoolwork. Because exams require so many of the skills that your teen needs for any task or assessment, for so many areas of their study. Whether it's dissecting the question, being able to put together a succinct yet sophisticated response, meeting the demands of the mark scheme. And if they can do all of that with an unseen question, an unseen set of marking criteria, and do it all under time pressure, then every other type of assessment, every other type of task is going to feel like a walk in the park. Maybe not a walk in the park exactly, but certainly if they can do these things in exam conditions, then they can absolutely do it anywhere else. So let's talk about that first point, exams being a significant source of stress, because I know there is an argument against exams entirely, that if they're causing so much anxiety and so much stress and mental anguish, then maybe we should just get rid of them. And I can understand that thinking. But here's the thing. If exams are often the type of assessment where students do the worst, then of course we're going to want to get rid of that weakest link or the area that causes most stress and least marks. So there are many different aspects to this issue. Now, very honestly and openly, I will tell you that I do not spend a lot of time and energy reading all of the research or opinions as to whether we should scrap exams or not. And I know that might not sound great, seeing as I do so much work around them, but here's why. I would rather spend my time and energy helping students and parents see exams much more strategically and accurately to have them understand them and get the skills to succeed in them. I want to help treat the cause of these issues, not just the symptoms. Plus, I do believe that there is some value in setting teens up for success in situations where there is pressure, time pressure, pressure to perform. And I believe that I've gathered so many experiences and had so much training to really be able to do that. Because what's the reason that students are feeling so much stress and anxiety around exams? It's that fear of the unknown, not knowing what the questions are going to be, what topics are going to come up, not knowing really what's required, what's going to get the marks, and that pressure, the time pressure, the pressure to perform when they want or need a certain grade, that pressure to be and feel successful. Because as time goes on, and I get more and more into all of this, I'm really beginning to see that these features and characteristics of what exams really are could be seen and interpreted as transferable skills in life or in a career or profession. There are so many times when we need the knowledge behind whatever that task is and the skills to execute it. And exams are a judgment of how well students can do both of those. Because as we know now, exams are not just testing subject knowledge, they're testing students' abilities to apply that knowledge to the way the question is asked and exactly what is required in their response. So if we took an example like a lawyer, they need to understand all of the legalities, but they also need to be able to understand the needs and requirements of their client or the case and how to take that knowledge and apply it to the situation, their client, and the case. A builder needs to understand building concepts, regulations, and they need the skills to understand what the client wants, what the brief is, and then use their practical skills and their building knowledge of materials and best practice and regulations in order to deliver the best possible product. And this is the equivalent of learning the subject content and then having the skills to apply that knowledge, using exam technique to dissect the question, know what it's asking, be able to predict the mark scheme just by reading the question, to give the examiner what they want in the way that they want it, and in the most efficient, clear, and succinct yet sophisticated way. Now, I'll jump to point 3 here. That if they can do this in exams, they can do it for everything in their study. Essays, research projects, data analysis, writing their content for presentations. And from everything that I see, exams are not going anywhere soon. In fact, I'd even dare to say that with AI now, and AI also being here to stay, that is not going anywhere soon either, I can only see exams increasing because there's more and more difficulty in validating essays and coursework as being students' own work. And I'm not against AI either. That is also here to stay and has a huge amount of benefits. But given all of that, And from everything that I have seen and experienced, back as a student myself, as a teacher now, as an external examiner, a panel member, a moderator, a study coach, there are definitely ways to make exams a much more positive, success-filled experience, and have exams be an exercise that builds confidence and self-belief rather than one that dents or erodes it. Now, this does not mean that your teen should be or needs to be getting A grades every time, though for some it might. For others, it might simply be a case of getting through those exams without the stress and anxiety and meltdowns. For others, it might be about having a better life balance while still getting the results that they want. For others, it might be about knowing that their result actually reflects their ability and effort, whatever that might be. And for others, it's about feeling successful and building that self-belief. What it doesn't mean is that your teen is going to absolutely love sitting exams. I don't think any amount of training, exam technique, or confidence levels is going to do that. But I do think it could be a positive and productive challenge. Like if you turn up to a workout and the exercises that are on the board are the ones that you know you're good at and that you enjoy doing more. And yes, the workout will still be hard, but you'll feel good about yourself while you're doing it. And you'll likely be ahead of the pack. Or another good example is when your teen goes to their evening or weekend job and they get put on their favorite area or task in their job. Like if they prefer being on the counter instead of serving in the cafe, or they prefer being on the drink station in McDonald's. Yes, it is still work, but they're using the skills that are their strengths, that they know they're less likely to make mistakes on and more likely to get praised on, and they just feel confident in. Because of course, there will still be some levels of stress and pressure. But I remember I used to get a real buzz when I was doing cafe work and I'd be on the juices and smoothies station, which I really enjoyed. And it would get really busy and you'd be under pressure and you would just have to make sure that you didn't make mistakes. Everything went fast and smoothly. And it was tiring. Sometimes it got a little bit stressful if you were getting hassled about a particular order. But it was that good level of challenge, that positive level of pressure, that productive pressure. It was hard work and you'd be tired at the end of the shift, but it was also really rewarding and energizing. And this is what I want for students, for them to rise to the challenge, to feel good most of the time through that journey and achieve what they want and are capable of out of it. And I want to empower parents to be able to help their teen to make that a reality so that we address point number 2 and have that biggest chunk, that biggest percentage of their final grade be from or through a type of assessment that is a strength for them. Them being your teen and their school, their cohort, their peers, their classmates, so that that rising tide lifts all ships. And we're not in the situation where that one big type of assessment is actually the one that is always lower than the other types of assessment or coursework. We want to turn that biggest source of stress into a source of success, and especially in the places where it really counts. And I personally believe that if we intentionally choose to and then take practical steps to turn exams into an opportunity to shine, to build that skill of sitting exams into a strength, then we can turn some, or I would like to think many, of what are currently negative aspects of exams, of assessment, into positives. And I want to help as much as I can with that, because this is something I consider to be my strength. This is my wheelhouse. This is what I'm good at and feel confident and capable with. And that's understanding how exams work, distilling every aspect of them, and reverse engineering and systematizing it all to help enlighten parents, train students, and skill up teachers. I'm grasping that nettle and wringing it with both hands to hopefully make it all a lot less painful for everyone involved, so that the path is so much more enjoyable to walk and leads to an amazing destination. And if this sounds good to you and you'd like to have this happen for your teen, then I would love to deliver a parent-student presentation or a teacher PD for their school. You can let their school know about these information evenings, about this training by sharing the webpage www.rocksolidstudy.com/schools with the relevant person. Maybe it's a deputy principal, maybe it's their head of year, maybe it's a curriculum leader. Whoever it is, you can pass on that link and then I will take everything off your plate from there. Have a brilliant rest of your week and I will see you back here next time. If you're ready to have your teen achieve their best possible results with less stress, then I want to invite you to enroll them in the 10-week Grade Transformation Program, where they're going to learn the key concepts, skills, and strategies to catapult their performance in assessments and exams. It's risk-free. They either achieve bigger and better results with a whole lot more confidence in 10 weeks, or we refund you in full. Just head over to www.rocksolidstudy.com/program and I'll see you there.